Hello, welcome to another episode of Clutch Trick Gaming, and to those of you in the United States, happy Thanksgiving. Today, I want to do something a little bit different. I know you want to spend some time with family, and you definitely want to eat a lot, probably take a nap today, so I won't keep you too long. I just wanted to kind of show you some cars I have in my garage today, especially my drag cars, and show you the tunes that I've done on them. Just briefly, you'll enjoy it, so stay tuned. First up, I want to show you this AMC Gremlin. It's a 1973 model. I built this specifically to be a two-wheel drive drag car. It is V12 swapped. It's got the drag tires. It is two-wheel drive, and it runs low 8 seconds. Let's watch this. I think you'll like it. Here we go. It's kind of like driving a slingshot. It just takes off a little bit, and then it goes, and it goes, and it goes. Of course, I expected first place. Not being cocky. Ran at 8.24. To me, I'm not really into all this drag tuning. I haven't done a lot, but to me, that's pretty smoking fast. So, in the tune on the Gremlin, I pretty much do some simple stuff that you might expect. Front tire pressure is all the way up, rear tire pressure all the way down. Gear ratio, honestly, this is one of the things that annoys the living daylights out of me when I'm doing any kind of tuning in the game, is how this stuff does not translate in real life. You would never put a 220 final drive gear in a Gremlin drag car. But for this, you see I have the 220 final drive. First is 243, 182, 140, 110. And really, you don't have to go much further than that for these races, not on the quarter-mile track. The alignment, everything is straight up. Anti-roll bars, I leave them relatively soft so they don't act like a stiff spring and hold everything in place. And the rear, I did tighten up a little bit because originally the car was getting sideways when I would launch. It still does a little bit. I could probably actually bump that up just a little bit, maybe even more. Springs, my front springs, I run them very stiff so they get the front end up and they kind of hold the weight of the front up and allow it to transfer better. The rear, I like to run soft. I see some guys like to tune them and make them stiff. I run soft. Ride height, keep the front end a little bit low, keep it down out of the wind. And on this car, I raised the back of it up so that I had some room for the rear end to actually squat. Dampening, this is where some of the magic starts to happen. Got my rebound stiffness very low, and my or on the front, and on the rear I've got it high. What I'm trying to achieve here is I want the front end of the car to come up when we launch to allow the weight to move to the back of the car, but then I want that front end to stay up and not come dropping down real fast. If it drops down real fast, it can take weight off of the rear and unload the tires, causing them to spin. So I've kind of got this to allow the car to bring the front end up and slowly let the front end down as you go along the track. Aero I left alone on this car. Braking doesn't matter. And of course I locked up the front and rear. It's a two-wheel drive car. I locked up the differential completely. So now you see exactly how the tune is. On a Gremlin, you're going to run 824s with that. So to show you my other drag cars, I've got a couple of the Ford 32 Ford Coupes on here. It's one of my favorite cars in real life, so I built two of them. I have an all-wheel drive version here, and then I have the two-wheel drive version. Since we're on two-wheel drives, let's take a look at it. So this is a 1932 5-window Ford Coupe. You may not know this, but this was the first domestic V8 engine ever put in a car. It's called the flathead Ford V8. There was small displacement by today's standards, almost no horsepower by today's standards. But you put a big rumpety cam in a real flathead Ford V8 and they sound fantabulous. That is an actual word. And it is true. It really describes how a Ford flathead V8 sounds with a big cam. So this is V8 two-wheel drive car on Forza. Watch it go. So the 1932 Ford just ran an 8.3 or 830, barely slower, less than a tenth slower than what the Gremlin ran, and the Gremlin is a V12. That is a testament to the weight difference on these cars. Let's take a look at the tune. Oh, looks like we got some drama going on over here. Oh crap. They're gonna hit my car. Like an assault on a tractor here. Okay. Oh crap. Oh wow, no one has hit the car yet. Anyway, let's go look at the tune. So the tune on this car is going to be very similar to what you saw on the Gremlin. We start off, tons of air pressure in the front tires so that they are not causing any restriction, and almost no tire pressure at all in the rear, so we get maximum traction. Gear ratio on this one, we're at a 225, and I really have it geared so it only uses first, second, and third on the drag strip. Fourth gear, it will actually start to slow down. So this is a strictly drag car only. You can see there the 2225 or 225 for final drive, 300 for first gear, 209 second, 156 for third. Alignment, you want everything straight up. Anti-roll bars, in this case, I went ahead and ran them both all the way to the max. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference in a game. It helps keep the car stable, especially with these cars, and in real life these cars are the same way. Sometimes they almost feel like a boat with axles on it. They just kind of want to rock back and forth. They have a straight axle front and rear suspension, and they are not intended to ride good. So on here, to keep the thing straight and keep it from rocking, I had to run those sway bars all the way up. Springs, same thing. Front all the way up, rear all the way down. Ride height, I actually went ahead and applied a little bit of mechanical weight transfer, I guess you would say, but dropping the back all the way down and raising the front all the way up. In theory, on a real car, you don't necessarily always want to do that because you could catch a little extra wind, but on here, it allows me to get this two-wheel drive car out of the hole. Dampening, same as I normally do. All the way soft on the front for rebound. That's your up, and all the way, scratching my nose, not picking it, all the way up on the stiff for the rear. Bump stiffness, that is when the wheel actually moves up in the wheel well or closer to the car. I want that very stiff on the front so it keeps that front end up, and soft on the rear so it allows the car to go down and allows more weight to move to the back. Aero, no change. Braking, no change. Differentials locked up all the way. Now that you've seen both of my two-wheel drive drag cars, at least the two that I have for now, I want to show you my two all-wheel drive drag cars. First, and really my favorite, even though it's not the fastest, is my, what the heck is going on here? Maybe I should have put this in a different place. Wow, I'm like ghosted. Anyway, so it's my 32 Ford all-wheel drive. This is also flathead Ford V8 powered, about the same horsepower as the other one, but it's strictly all-wheel drive. So let's take a look at it. It's been said about street racers, especially in the South where I'm from, that they can make their cars hook in a mud hole. And that is what I like about an all-wheel drive drag car. So honestly, this was the first drag car I built in Horizon 4, the all-wheel drive 32 Ford. The two-wheel drive cars, they were more something I just did to see if it was possible to beat it. This car's fast. Check it out. So a lot of tuning went into getting this car to run as it does. It runs virtually the same as my two-wheel drive car, as you just noticed, an 830, but it's all-wheel drive. It weighs more, so that's your biggest difference here. So let's show you how this one's built, and then you can decide yourself. Do you want all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive? So the tune on my all-wheel drive 32 is a little different than the two-wheel drive. I have both the front and the back all the way down as far as tire pressure goes. Gearing is 220, 302, 242, 160. Actually, after making this video, I may go back and change some of the things on this car to be more similar to my two-wheel drive car, and then see if I can tweak from there. I really want this car to go faster than 8 seconds. I may do a separate video on that. Alignment, perfectly straight up on everything. Anti-roll bars, this one, I kind of looked like I put that in the middle, not such a big deal. Now, when I did the springs, I did things a little different. The all-wheel drive was hooking different, and I was finding that my times were coming in differently. So here, I've got the ride height very high, and I've got my spring rate very soft. I wanted to be able to let the car move a little bit so that it could do a little bit of weight transfer. I wanted it to have the space to move and not bottom out. That's why it's all the way up. Dampening also seemed like the weight transfer was not as big of a deal with this car as far as having the nose come up and stay up. It really just needed to get all four wheels planted and hooked up all the time. So something very simple. I ran bump stiffness down on the soft side, front and rear, and rebound kind of on the soft side as well. Aero is not touched, brake is not touched. Differentials, I've got the back close to locked up, but the front only halfway. You don't really need quite the same type thing going on being all-wheel drive, but really honestly it wouldn't hurt if I had all of these completely on the high side as well. It's really not going to make much difference. Last but not least, of my fastest car so far in my tuning, the TVR Speed 12. It is the barn find. Anyone can get it. All you have to do is watch how I tune this car. So I spent a lot of time tuning on this car and got it to go fast, but not super fast. What I found out was the quickest way to make this car fast is actually to be very simple. It's an extremely simple tune. Check this out. So now that you've seen this car run, it's time for me to give away the farm and show you just how simple it is to make this car as fast as it is, to run below 8 seconds. The only things I changed on this car is I ran the tire pressure all the way down. I left the gear ratio the same. I left it stock. Of course, I threw all the parts on this car, but the gear ratio is stock the way it came out of the shop where you're putting parts on it and stuff. Alignment, I didn't even change the alignment. Anti-roll bars, did not change them. Springs, did not change them. Dampening, did not change it. Aero, same. Brake, same. Differential, I locked up the differential. So, I think the only thing on here I changed, tire pressure, ride height, differential. That is all that has changed on this car. And I found, after trial and error, time and time again, that is the way to make this car run below 8 seconds. So there you go. Those are my 4 drag cars that I've been using now. I really want to build some more. I enjoy it. I think it's really fun. I'd like to get some drag racing going on here with some subscribers and such. Just haven't gotten around to all that stuff yet. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Please like it. I will be live streaming almost every Tuesday on Forza Horizon 4. I'll be uploading videos on Thursdays, and videos like how to paint this truck right here to do a nice rusty paint job, drag cars, how to tune suspension, all kinds of things. I'll even get into some real automotive stuff, things that aren't in video games if you don't know what that is. So that being said, you guys have a nice day. Clutch is out.